As we progressed as human beings, let's go back about 10,000 years ago. The Egyptian population, they ate bread manufactured from wheat. That civilization is virtually purged. And they purged because sugar, bread, carbohydrates cause cardiovascular disease. And the mummies that they dug up, and there are thousands of them, they all had cardiovascular disease. So here Lucy was evolving to a carnivore. Civilization took over, changed the diet. Roman Empire, same thing. The elite ate meat. The commoners ate bread. That's where the expression came from. Let them eat bread. Bread and circus. Pizza and NFL. Bread and circus. The elite ate meat. They were healthy. The poor were not because they were eating sugar. And then as we evolved further into Columbus Day, who the rich were starting to find this sugar and they wanted more of it. And Columbus brought us to the New World and he planted sugar cane and brought it back to Europe. In the 1600s, sugar was about $1,000 a pound. Only the rich ate it. Only the rich had disease, migraines. And all these different diseases developed slowly, insidiously over time. There was a book by Boyd Eaton, and he was from Emory University. He wrote the Paleolithic Diet. He enunciates what I just said in a very fine book. And he's saying 10,000 years ago, the omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids were 1-to-1 ratio. Let me explain what they mean. So when we say omega-3, we mean counting from the right side of a carbon chain, 1, 2, 3, the double bond. That's omega-3. It's a Greek letter. Omega-6 is counting 6 over. That's all that means, but it's fundamentally important because omega-6 fatty acids are extremely inflammatory. Omega-3s are less inflammatory. They're good for the cell membrane. But today, now we are up to, some researchers say, 30-to-1 ratio of omega-6 fatty acid to omega-3. So that destroys the cell membrane. Then when you put sugar into the equation, then we have that Maillard reaction with these bad oils. And then the third point is to add insult to injury, we bring in seed oils under the guise of vegetables. Seeds are not vegetables, but it sounds palatable. That's where the vegetarian diet comes from. That's where the herbivores come from. Now, we can eat those types of foods, but we cannot use these seed oils. And most of the food that we have in our diet in the US, in the Western diet, is composed of those seed oils. When you combine all this together, then we have biochemical reactions that are devastating to our health. I was just looking at one of the lectures I gave at the Smithsonian Institute, and this is almost 20 years ago. And I talked about all these issues. And I talked about nerves, how nerves get gummed up, stuck together, and malfunction. Not just in my field of diabetic neuropathy, but in every field. Nerve is a nerve is a nerve. They conduct electricity to the end organ, the organ that does the work, the eye. There's muscles around it. It moves the eye around, the pupils open and close. There are muscles. They're controlled by nerves. And those nerves are affected by sugar. Just as an anecdote, macular degeneration, eye disease, was not known in the early 1900s. Alzheimer's was not known. Dr. Alzheimer's, he got his name on that because he saw some patients in the early 1900s that were losing their memory. That was not prevalent. That's why he got his name on it. Bell's palsy, another nerve. So my theory is that all the nerves throughout the body are fundamentally the same. They have a coating, myelin. Now, the cranial nerves have a little bit different physiology, but the essential biochemistry is the same. So the Maillard reaction, which I'm going to show you in a cooking demonstration, number one. And then we had the polyol pathway. What is that? Richard Johnson, one of the books right here, excellent book. Shout out to Dr. Johnson. He has a very complete book on high fructose corn syrup and how it affects the polyol pathway. Simply put, the polyol pathway is the conversion of sugar inside the nerve that breaks down to a sugar alcohol that we call sorbitol. Sorbitol brings water into the nerve. So in a carpal tunnel, we have a nerve that's shrinking by the Maillard reaction, and we have a nerve that's swelling by the polyol pathway. When it goes through a fibroosseous tunnel, it gets compressed. Traditional medicine, and I have to excuse my neurology friends, they don't see that. They don't understand that. Dr. Dellin does, and that's why he wrote 800 papers, 2 textbooks, and I was fortunate enough for him to teach me this. And I was able to visualize that concept in real time under a microscope at surgery. And I witnessed sensation in the leg coming back almost instantaneously. It's just like stepping on a wire through your washing machine. Take your foot off and it unkinks it, and the washing machine works, or the lights come back on, or any other mechanical device attached to the electricity. In my opinion, that's not very complicated. So why are we all, let's segue over to the red herring, cholesterol. So why have we, for the last 50 years, chased this red herring? What is a red herring? That goes back to the 1800s. The British, they tricked the aristocracy with red herring. They smoked it. They put it out in the fields, so when the hunt was on, the dogs went to the wrong target, and they got the game, and they literally fleeced the treasury of England. Well, that's exactly what's happening today. Our treasury is being fleeced by Big Pharma. The red herring are statin drugs, equal $1 trillion. It is not cholesterol. Cholesterol is not the cause of cardiovascular disease. Sugar is. Now, do a little experiment with butter and sugar and meat and fat, and I'll show you. It's that simple. Back to the concept of glucose. It's a glue. How would you stick a wax or an oil to a smooth surface like the lining of your blood vessel? You would have to add glue. It's that simple. Taking the fat away, which has been present there for 3.2 million years, if we use Lucy as our primate ancestor, she never had a problem, but she ate a good diet. We don't. Now, we've spent $4.7 trillion last year on medical care in our country. And our country is dead broke because of this concept. And I want to teach you how to become that urban carnivore.